Hi, Dawn Lewis here, and today I've got a stamp from KennyK. This is the Martial Arts Girl, and we're going to have some fun. Look, I have pre-coloured her. I've had her coloured up for months, and I've finally gotten around to using her. I'm on a big use what you've got binge. I'm just taking a really standard, this is a piece of A5 white cardstock folded in half, my standard card base, and I decided that this girl would be better off on a landscape card than portrait, and I happen to have this piece of watercolour card sitting on my desk. It's perfect fit because I had cut a larger piece and that was left over, and I'm using my Darkroom door set called Alphabet Medley to put my greeting on my card today. We're going to do some customization on this cardstock, but we're going to stamp it first. I'm using the stamp positioner because I want it in a particular place, and I'm using rubber stamps and I can't see exactly where they're going to be, and I want it to have a particular look. So that's why I love that. I've used everything in place to make sure my first letter isn't going to be covered by my martial arts girl, and I'm stamping onto my plastic with this Stampin' Up ink. It's just a dark blue one. It's nice and easy to clean off the plastic, whereas the Archival ink that I'm going to be stamping my greeting with is not easy to clean off the plastic of my stamp positioner. So I'm stamping onto the plastic with the Stampin' Up, and then I'm stamping onto my watercolour paper with this gorgeous jet black Archival ink. I'm so in love with this ink now. It is crisp and very, very black. I absolutely love it. And it's waterproof, so it's perfect for using with the distress inks we're going to use later on. In hindsight, I should have left that K on that block and picked up a different block, but we'll get to that. So I'm doing this for every single letter in the greeting I'm stamping on my card here. It just means every letter can go where I want it. The C, I know I had a bit of a tough time remembering which way around I should put that. And I'm taking out and replacing every single letter of the alphabet as I go, because I hate not being able to find them later. So I've stamped the small letter. I'm using some of those small ones in the middle just so that I could make sure that the word I'm putting down the bottom isn't going to cover over the word I want to put in the center. So the idea behind this card is a bit of an encouragement card. So far it says kick butt, and then we're going to use some of the small stamps from this medley set and kick some butt. So it's a fantastic, if you're encouraging somebody, then this is a good card. Let's talk about putting the colour on that strip now. It's just boring old white. So I've taken distress inks. On the left there's Tumbled Glass, in the middle is Salty Ocean, and on the right is Chipped Sapphire. But you could use other blues, of course. I just picked some that I happen to have to hand. So I'm working on a craft sheet. I just love doing this for the distress inks. I'm going to speed it up. It's a bit boring looking at it in real time. And I'm just going very randomly. Now, this Salty Ocean is a brand new one. It's the first time I'd used it. I love this colour, but it's very, very juicy ink pad. So it went on quite strong. The Chipped Sapphire, I'm just coming in, and I just loved how everything blended so well. There's no hard lines here. I did come and strengthen up that Tumbled Glass, though, just to give it a little bit more oomph. And then, well, I realized this needs a little bit of something, so I grabbed my mini mister that's just got plain water in it, and I've spritzed it a couple of times, and rather than waiting for it to dry naturally or hit it with the heat gun, I've just dabbed over the top with a tissue, and it's lifted the water and the ink up and left a great design. For some big splodges there, I've just sprayed quite heavily onto my fingers and flicked it over, lifted it up with a tissue again to blot it dry, and it came up really, really well. I decided I was done, so I'm hitting it with the dryer. It's not going to change, and I've just put the tiniest bit of Chipped Sapphire around the edge. I didn't even re-ink it. Then it was choosing pattern paper. This is how I choose. I put it on top and I see which one I like the best. In the end, I chose this one. It's kind of like a bolt print on the paper, and I've just measured out what I need, just a little piece, and I thought I'll cut it in half and have a little up the top, a little down the bottom, and I don't need it to cover the entire card front because that beautiful panel we just made is going to cover it up anyway. So one strip up at the top. Then I realized, you kind of have to measure it. So this is a great way, lay it out next to the thing you're sticking on. You're not going to put adhesive where you don't need it. And then we're going to trim that down. Just a pair of scissors is fine because you've got the side of the card as a guide. Now, watercolor paper, it's had water on it, and this is quite thick. So I'm using a nice, good, strong, double-sided tape all the way around. This is an Express It tape. I think it's a 3mm one. or maybe it's 6mm, I can't remember, but all the way around the edge and a little in the middle for good measure, just so it doesn't buckle while it's drying, because even though I did hit it with the heat gun, it might not be completely dry quite yet. Look, the last thing that you need to do is add some adhesive to the back of your digital stamp, and then I did think it needed something. At first I was going to add sequins and I thought that's just silly. It doesn't suit the theme of the card at all. So I found these really cute tiny little stars from a wood veneer set from Fundamentals I picked up at Spotlight, and they've been attached really well with my Tombow mono adhesive glue. And here it is, the finished card. I will put the names of all the products I use down below, as well as a link to KennyK where you can find this martial arts girl stamp, and there's a martial arts boy. Look, thank you everyone so much for watching. I've enjoyed making this card and showing it to you. I hope you will subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Have a wonderful crafty day, and I will see you next time. Bye.